Brock Lesnar has become a legend and champion in WWE and UFC, regularly wrestling for a variety of titles in WWE. Lesnar's been a star fans have had mixed reactions about. Over time, he managed to defeat almost everyone he faced, but was last seen in WWE at WrestleMania 36. There he lost a match to Drew McIntyre and has since been away. His contract with WWE appears to have expired, but fans know it's only a matter of time before he's back. At the same time, Lesnar's history in WWE of injuring superstars is alarming. Fans have noted the wrestler often does not hold back much in the ring and does whatever he needs. Thanks to his MMA background, Lesnar has often been considered a dangerous superstar in real life. He has injured multiple stars over the years, and despite his apparent professionalism behind the scenes, Lesnar is considered to be a dangerous wrestler by fans. This is Wrestling Up, and let's take a look at the injury history of Brock Lesnar and talk about whether he is a dangerous wrestler or not. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Shawn Michaels is known for being one of the safest workers in WWE. Still, he's received multiple bad injuries, letting alone his bad fall on the edge of the casket during his match against The Undertaker, which saw his vertebrae shatter. He has taken tough shots. Wrestlers are supposed to protect each other in the ring, but some stars don't know their own strength. Triple H faced Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 29, and there the Beast incarnate seemed to take the fact that Michaels was there personally. When Michaels tried to help his friend, there was a small spot the two shared. Unfortunately for Michaels, that was the very spot Lesnar chose to be stiff, hitting Michaels across the face with a forearm, causing a nosebleed. It was an accident, but one of many Lesnar has caused. The Big Show is very familiar with Brock. When Lesnar came to WWE, he worked with Big Show a ton. In the past, Show did not like Lesnar and would be on the receiving end of multiple attacks by Lesnar. He hit him with many slams and suplexes that hurt Show, with him needing time to heal. In 2014, the two faced again. Lesnar attacked Big Show with a chair and hit him with quite a few shots that were so hard the crowd went silent. One shot saw Lesnar hit a rather reckless blow on Show as he hit his elbow when he had his arm pulled down. Show even acknowledged he was not happy as he called it BS to himself. He had a lot more shots to take even then. While it was not an injury, it definitely caused pain. Given how many times Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar have faced, injuries were expected. Reigns can take punishment, but it seemed Lesnar was testing the toughness of Roman. At WrestleMania, Lesnar held nothing back and nearly knocked Reigns out when he slapped him hard behind the ear. The move was one that was loud and shocked anyone in hearing range. He also hit a very stiff shot on Reigns later with a clothesline. Roman was not injured, but he was hurt thanks to the beating he took. In the Royal Rumble, Alberto Del Rio entered hoping for a good showing, but when Brock came in to clear house, it was immediately clear Lesnar was not playing around. He hit Del Rio with a huge suplex. Unfortunately, Alberto landed badly on his back. Reports said Del Rio was either injured by Lesnar at the Rumble or previously when he had hit him with a German suplex on Raw. When Lesnar came back to wrestle in WWE, he did so with the legitimacy of UFC behind him. His first match back, he was set to face John Cena. The two met in an Extreme Rules match, and the entire point was to show how legitimate wrestlers fought and how different it was from WWE. Unfortunately for Cena, just a few days back from UFC, Lesnar showcased his new toughness by bloodying Cena with a shot that was more from UFC than WWE. Cena was left bleeding on Raw during the brawl and was busted open. During their Extreme Rules match, Lesnar hit Cena with multiple elbows to the forehead. He was cut open badly and bleeding the entire time, but in the end, Cena won. Another wrestler who would receive similar treatment from Brock, Randy Orton, faced the newly returned Lesnar at SummerSlam, only for him to suffer far more than he thought possible. The finish was planned for Lesnar to cut Orton open the hard way, but Randy did not know what he signed up for. Lesnar kept hitting him with sharp elbows to the head until Orton was bleeding profusely. The scene was devastating, and so many wrestlers backstage were concerned that Chris Jericho, thinking Lesnar was shooting on Orton, confronted the Beast when he got backstage. Thankfully, it turned out it was planned, but that does not mean Randy's head ached any less. While Lesnar is known for being a stiff wrestler, the man he faced was known for the same thing. Hardcore Holly often brawled with his opponents in the ring if they actually had differences backstage. Holly was a veteran and one who did whatever he felt was right, as he felt he had earned that thanks to his many years in the business. Meanwhile, coming from an amateur wrestling career, Brock was still working rather stiff in the ring. Lesnar was not enjoying his match with Holly, where it was clear he was getting irate at the lack of proper selling from Hardcore. Unfortunately, in what Holly says was an accident, he was injured. Brock tried to hit Holly with a powerbomb, but Holly appeared to sandbag Lesnar and let his weight go. Lesnar had issues, and Holly fell squarely on his neck. As a result, Holly suffered a serious neck injury that took a lot of time to heal. Lesnar's infamous match against Undertaker at WrestleMania is one fans will never forget. Taker had never been defeated at Mania until 2014 when he lost against Brock. Lesnar hit him with an F5 early that concussed him. For the rest of the match, Taker wrestled purely on instinct. He managed to get backstage after and drop down, only for others then to realize he was concussed. He was taken to the hospital and he barely remembered anything that happened in the ring. There he found he had suffered a concussion but got a scare. It turned out he had broken his neck, but it was an old break that was discovered because of that scan for the concussion. The doctors take me back, my wife and Vince McMahon are there in the waiting room. They come out, it's the same kind of deal. The doctors go, alright, he's broken his neck and we're gonna give him another scan. Obviously my wife is freaking out. We come to find out they had read the scans wrong. It was an old break I never knew I had. I never knew it. Lesnar is not your average wrestler. In the ring, he's ready to do anything it takes to assert his dominance. His background in amateur wrestling and MMA only adds to his reputation, as he can seemingly do anything and defeat anyone. As a result, and because of his freakish strength, Lesnar has somewhat of a reputation for being a wrestler who takes liberties with his opponents. In reality, Lesnar has wrestled a lot over his career, and despite his many times taking on others, he has very few injuries to his name. Given his history, it would have been thought he caused serious injuries to hundreds of wrestlers. However, he only injured Hardcore Holly, and even that was not entirely his fault. The other injuries were some that could be avoided if more careful. The ones where he cut his opponent open were planned by WWE, and he had control of himself in those moments. Thus, while Brock definitely has potential to be one of the most dangerous wrestlers of all time, he's not really that hazardous. Though if things go wrong, thanks to his size and moveset, he could turn out to be a threat to the health of his opponents. And this was Brock Lesnar's history of injuring wrestlers and if he's a dangerous wrestler himself. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.